Welcome to Low-Key PD. In this video, we're going to explore how to precisely align objects in Google Drawings. So you've got your drawing canvas open in front of you, and you want to be a little bit more precise about where objects are. Google Drawings is very visual. You may be doing a logo or something else where content or objects need to be aligned precisely in order to fit on maybe if you print the drawing onto something. So what you're going to want to do, there's a couple of different ways to get some precision in terms of lining up objects in your Google Drawings. One simple way, although not necessarily the best, is to just go to View and click on Show Ruler. And if you click on Show Ruler at the top, you'll see a little ruler that goes all the way across your drawing canvas, and so you can use it to line up objects according to the ruler. Now, this one is probably the easiest to notice, but I don't know if you saw this, but there's also a ruler on the side that runs up and down the height of your drawing canvas. So you can use the ruler to help you align objects in the precise location that you want. You can also go to the View menu and click on Guides. Right? If you haven't defined any guides yet and you click on Show Guides, you will see a vertical line and a horizontal line going across your canvas. These are default guides. They're typically not shown by default, but if you turn on that you want to view the guides, these two will show up. The horizontal line indicates the exact middle of your drawing from left to right, and the horizontal line represents the exact middle of your Google drawing up and down. Right, and then notice that these two lines will intersect right in the middle. That is the center of your canvas. If you want to add more guides, go back to View, click on Guides, and then you have the option to add a vertical guide or add a horizontal guide. If you add a vertical guide, a new one will show up, and then you can just drag it wherever you want, and notice that it goes all the way up to that ruler. So if I want to, I can set that vertical guide to be exactly at a very specific place, in this case 2.5 inches. And then if I want to add a horizontal guide, I can do the same thing. Grab that. If I look at the left-hand side of my screen, the vertical ruler is at 1 inch. So now I have these guides. These are not actually part of the drawing, but they do help me place things specifically. So let's say I wanted to insert some kind of shape into this drawing. Create one. All right, now I know, I can visually see now that the left-hand side of this shape lines up with that vertical guide, and all I have to do is slowly move it up, and now the top side of that shape lines up with that horizontal guide, and so that particular item is placed very precisely. If you go back to View and click on Snap To, you can choose either the grid, which is the gray and white squares behind your Google drawing, or guides. And what this will do is this will allow you to either align objects to your guides or the grid behind you. At the moment it's set to grid, so let me show you what that would look like. Notice if I move this around, I can still see that gray and white grid behind me, and all I have to do is line it up. And now I know that that is lined up with that grid behind me, and if I have other objects lined up with the same vertical or horizontal grid lines, I know that those will be lined up. Or if I go back to Snap To and I change this to Guides, if I hover over to my guide, notice as soon as the left side of this object lines up with that vertical guide, it turns red. A nice visual cue that you are lined up precisely with that guide. And if I do the same thing, I get a red top to this shape that indicates that the top of this shape is lined up precisely with that horizontal guide, and now I know that I can put that there, and that will be precisely where I want it. So these are some ways that you can take control over where objects are on your Google Drawings, especially if you need them to be in very specific spots.